Sunny Isles Beach Police Department in Florida, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and tell me what happened.
Well, what I reported, and then there was a few incidents that occurred after that I'd like to discuss with you. But what I reported on the internet was that I went in the Sunday morning of January 31st to the police department to complain about my neighbors who are anti-Semites. During the holidays, like the Christmas season, they put up just a Christmas tree. They didn't put up a menorah, which is like what I celebrate. I celebrate Hanukkah because I'm Jewish. And I went to complain about them that, lately they're very nasty to me. They don't let me go up to the 5th floor. They said, what are you doing here? You better go in your apartment soon. And every little thing I do, like I play a little bit loud music, they call the police. I went up to the 5th floor and I told them to go to hell 2 days ago, and they called the police on me. And that day, I had a lot of trouble with the police.
Okay, so...
And on the 31st, to complain about them, and the police doesn't believe me, they believe them, because I'm a young woman.
Okay, let me just get the story so I understand it correctly. You have a neighbor that you're having problems with.
I have a few neighbors, not just the one.
Okay, so you have a few
Really, I have problem with the whole condominium, with the association.
Okay, so you're having problems with the condominium association and some of your neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
And the neighbors have behaved inappropriately or mistreated you in some way?
Yes, in a lot of ways.
Okay, tell me exactly how the neighbors have mistreated you and how the police have responded when these things have happened.
Okay. I was upstairs on the 5th floor because, I like to walk around the building. I live in an open building called an atrium. My building is called Atrium Gardens. And I went up to the 5th floor to walk around, and then one of the nosy neighbors, her name is Mrs. Montez de Oca, she was up, and she's, they always start speaking to me on purpose, and, how are you, honey? And they talk in such a nasty voice, and I don't want to talk to them. They're evil, and I told her to go to hell because she always asks too many questions, and she pretends to be my friend, and I'm not. These people are my friends. These people are my enemies, and I told her to go to hell with her neighbor next door because all of them report me to the police every day. And I just want to live my life in peace. And that day, the police responded. They came to my door, and I had to explain them what happened. And they told me to never go on the 5th floor again. That's not, I don't even have freedom of assembly in my building.
Okay, so the police told you not to go on certain floors of the building?
Yes.
All right, and what else has happened that you found disturbing?
The night before that, I went for a walk, and I told one gas station that they should lower their prices because Chevron has better deals than them, and they taped me on their cell phone and called the police on me to show the police what I did. And that's freedom of speech. These are Amendment 1 rights that I don't have. And this was the night before with the gas station. Now the same day, the neighbors, after I went with my mother to work, when I came back, I went to the place where I used to work. They fired me. I was an after-school counselor. And I'm not allowed to walk on their premises anymore because I left them a nasty message. Because I'm an emotional woman, I'm 27-year-old. I'm very emotional and very sensitive. So I left them a message about how I feel. And since then, they ordered all the secretaries to say I'm not allowed to come on the premises. So
so let me just get back to the complaints you have about the police. What is it specifically that you're complaining about in regards to what the police...
They're treating me like I'm a criminal, like I'm a murderer.
Okay, and
I'm not a criminal.
Describe what
I'm a murderer.
Describe what the police officers have done to you that you would consider misconduct or abusive behavior. And if you...
Okay, the first time this year in November, which is, I'm talking about this school year, because this was November 2009, they they threatened to taser me.
Okay, and do you remember the officer's name that made the threat?
No,
Okay,
I couldn't see that day.
okay, and why were they gonna taser you, and did they actually taser you, or they just said they were going to?
No, they didn't taser me, but they Baker-acted me and took me to the hospital. And at the hospital, I got electroshock therapy, but that's another story. I was sitting on the grass, and the rule in my building saying you're supposed to keep off the grass. Someone lied and said I defecated on the lawn. I didn't defecate on any lawn. And, you know, just because the way I was dressed, which I didn't have that much clothes on, they don't know the situation. They don't know what I've been through. And I don't think they had a right to threaten to taser me. And I've been traumatized by the police department, not from that day, since I'm 13.
Okay, all right, and do you want, so you want to proceed with a complaint against an officer?
I mean, it's not against one officer. It's against really the whole police department.
Okay, if I contact the police department and tell them about your
They're going to tell you I'm crazy if you contact them. And I mean, I don't like to admit it, but I'm bipolar. You know I have problems.